Hello everyone and welcome back to Growing with God. Today, we're going to answer the question, what does God think when we build masterpieces in His name? So first, masterpieces in this case refer to the things that we build in God's name in this world. For example, like cathedrals or temples or statues or graven images, that kind of thing. And many of the cathedrals that humans build are usually admired by humans, and they think that that is also admired by God. That's what God wants. But God doesn't really view these buildings as highly as we do, because unlike us, who can enter these buildings, worship in them, and spend time in them, God can't exactly do that because He is a spirit and cannot inhabit them. This was said in Acts chapter 17, verses 24 and 25, which reads, God that made the world and all things therein, seeing that He is Lord of heaven and earth, dwelleth not in temples made with hands, neither is worshipped with men's hands, as though He needed anything, seeing He giveth to all life and breath and all things. But these temples were still a very big part of the Jewish tradition. But after the first coming of Jesus Christ on earth, the glory of the physical temple had sort of been done away with, as we see in 2 Corinthians chapter 3 verses 7 to 11. And also John chapter 4 verses 20 to 24 says that physical locations didn't really matter as much anymore. So it was instead replaced with the glory of the tabernacle within. Now, what is this tabernacle within exactly? Well, the Bible tells us that we are the temple and tabernacle of God instead of a building like it was before, as we see in 1 Corinthians chapter 6 verse 19, as well as 1 Corinthians chapter 3 verses 16 to 17, which reads, Know ye not that ye are the temple of God, and that the Spirit of God dwelleth in you? If any man defile the temple of God, him shall God destroy. For the temple of God is holy, which temple ye are. So, St. Paul is telling us here that we should instead be investing more of our energy in keeping our hearts holy and pure, because that is where God actually dwells, not in a physical building. And following up on this, we also see in 1 Peter chapter 3 verses 3 to 4 that God wants us to build inwardly, and that a heart properly prepared to see God is of great price to Him. But now the question is, how do we exactly keep our spiritual temple a masterpiece like how those buildings of old used to be? Well, keeping our spiritual temple clean or in a masterpiece shape mainly refers to avoiding certain actions and vices that can be seen as sinful to God. This is because in Matthew chapter 15 verses 18 to 20, we see that sinful thoughts and actions are actually what defile a man, not the clothes he wears or the way he washes his hands or how people used to see it back then. We see in these verses, But those things which proceed out of the mouth come forth from the heart, and they defile a man. These are the things which defile a man, but to eat with unwashen hands defileth not a man. So, if we want God to see us as a masterpiece, we must avoid things that God finds disgusting, such as fornication, adultery, greed, wrath, things like this. And when we do this, we will be seen as appealing to God. And plus, keeping ourselves pure also means avoiding certain people that may be impure as well, as we are advised to do in 1 Corinthians chapter 5 verse 11, which reads, But I have written unto you not to keep company, if any man that is be called a brother be a fornicator or covetous, or an idolater, or a railer, or a drunkard, or an extortioner. With such an one know not to eat. And plus, Proverbs chapter 13 verse 20 says that a companion of fools, or the kinds of people mentioned in this verse, will be destroyed. Plus, when God sees someone who is doing work for Him, such as raising kids for Him, or keeping himself away from sinners, or simply just living the righteous lifestyle laid out in Micah chapter 6 verse 8, then God prefers this much more than some good-looking building that a team of people spent millions of dollars on. But how can we exactly achieve this lifestyle? Well, we can start by self-examination and meditation to find out where we are going wrong and how we can, level up our spiritual game. We see meditation and self-examination described in Psalms chapter 119 verses 59 and 60. Plus, personal communication with God in prayer can also help assist us in overcoming our weaknesses, and once again, identification of where we fall short internally can also help. So like identifying if we're lustful or greedy, if we love this world, lack courage, so on, this can help. And plus, Those are conscious efforts that are needed to adjust the way we think and catch ourselves when Satan tries to play games with us, tries to get us to do something wrong. So all of this, when we do this, it will help us become more pleasing in God's eyes. But anyway, I think I could stop here on discussing the subject. What does God think when we build masterpieces in his name? If you have enjoyed this video, I'll greatly appreciate if you hit those like and subscribe buttons down below, and also to hit that notification bell so you know when new Going with God videos are released. Have a great day, and we'll see you in the next one.